Welcome to Kevin's Barbershop, barbershoppodcast.com, Dirty Dozen, episode number 12.
Yes.
First one, broadcast, streaming live. I tell you, the technological advancements, it reminds me of NASA in the 50s and 60s when people cared, pushed hard, and just like we're trying to do, bring a new awareness to the people.
Yeah. And we're finally live. Yes, that's
what he said.
What he said. Sorry, I'm overwhelmed with.
He is. I have to. Ryan has been putting together the technological aspect. We switched the boards out, and it's a whole new setup. And for the last couple hours, Ryan's been scrambling, and probably like a 90% success rate, which is a great hit. But a little bit late, but looking and sounding is good as usual. Yeah. Ryan Cannon, thanks for all your hard work, and I'm sure helping propel. And in the studio is a cat I met through you, and really glad that I met him. Joe Towers is in the studio today, and of course, musician, singer, songwriter, and someone who has always got a good positive outlook on life, and one of those guys who keeps plugging. And welcome to the studio. How you doing, Joe?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me, and everybody watching. Get your hands off your wieners and give a nice round of applause for Ryan for getting all this together, and thank you, Kevin, for having me on the show.
Hey, you saw me sitting here watching him. I mean, someone had to do it, and I want to say when I met you, I was running an open stage, and you came in, and was really impressed with the way you were able to. Take that one person, one instrument, aspect. That's something I always look for when someone plays. But then I saw you in a band, and I remember being blown away that you were like, here's a legitimate front man, which you don't see too much anymore, someone who stands out there. And I was duly impressed. So,
well, I remember actually, I think I was on my way I was standing outside my dentist office having a smoke. And actually I got a notification on my phone, and I read this message that you sent me, and I was like, oh, fuck, that was really cool, man. Like, basically mentioned what you just said now. And I was like, well, those are the kinds of musicians that inspired me to begin with, was the front man. Yeah. Obviously, somebody with skill as well would inspire me, but it was, I don't know. I think my earliest inspirations, at least for getting into music, was like Marilyn Manson,
right.
For one, who's not the most technically sound musician per se, but I mean, he's a hell of a performer. Deriving a lot of what he did from people that he was inspired by, like David Bowie and Alice Cooper and Kiss, and it's that heavy stage setup, and just the theatrics, and I don't know. And I always thought, and guys like Rob Zombie too, watching him live, he doesn't have the greatest singing voice, but he sounds cool, and the band, they always just fucking give her on stage,
Yeah, there's a real presence and no excuses, and
and he gives off the idea that, if the guys on stage don't look like they're having fun, then why should the crowd? He'll actually stop the show and point out one guy who's passing out.
Yeah. And those bands that you mentioned, they have kind of like a dark overtone. Obviously, when you're growing up and you're into cool stuff and comics and whatnot, this aspect obviously has had an impact on you. The visual has to be as important. I know when Kiss, when I was 15, 16 and Kiss was popular, that was a huge part for me, was the visualization and that whole thing coming to life and the performance.
Oh, for sure. And my tastes kind of, expanded as I got older. I mean, getting into things like, White Zombie, Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, things like that. Those were very early stages for me. But it was a good start because I had a lot of friends that were starting to play guitar, and they would jump right into trying to learn Megadeth and Slayer, and I'm like, you're not going to be able to play that shit right off the bat, man. I had a buddy who was doing that, and he was trying to play... I can't remember, it was a Megadeth tune, and it took him forever just to lift one song, and by the time he got it still sounded like shit because he didn't have the basics down yet. So I started off playing shit like Nirvana, Marilyn Manson, things that were easy to play, but they were fun.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. It involves a lot more of the other part of your brain. There's always a left brain, right brain, battle going on where the technical aspect is really important, but it's almost like vocabulary versus inflection. Both sides of the same coin, and playing something that takes a lot more groove or something that kind of comes from you probably helped you when you started writing music too, right?
Oh, sure. Like my thing has pretty much always been, and it was actually it actually came out in an episode of Charlie Sheen's 2.5 Men. He said, I guess Alan was asking him for sex tips, but you can apply this logic to just about anything. It's better to do the basic stuff well than the fancy stuff horribly.
Right. Great.
So I kind of took that logic and applied it, but I mean, not to the point where it would hold me back from wanting to expand. But I would do it when the time was right and it felt right. And, I did push myself too. I mean, I sat in my bedroom growing up for days and days just playing the guitar. And, I didn't actually get into singing for a long time. I always had a little bit of a voice, but I never fine-tuned it.
Right. I've been having too much fun playing guitar.
Yeah, and then over the years playing in bands and they were good creative people, but I mean it didn't seem like it was done the right way or the way that I would want it to sound, or it always lacked something to me. It was like we would have a singer who was a great lyricist and all, but either the vocal ability on some scales just either wasn't there or wasn't. It wasn't done properly, and so I wanted to get into backup singing, but every band I joined, I ended up getting stuck on the microphone, being a lead singer. So
whoever's the worst is the least worst is given the job a lot of times.
I suppose, but then I kind of got a niche for, or I think I'm using that word right. I kind of got the hang of it over the years, because when we finally went to go I used to play in a band called Metalama with PJ Reynolds, for people who are listening probably know who he is. He's a drummer, and he's been my partner in crime pretty well. We hadn't played together in about 4 years until just recently. And but we went to go, actually the first time we went to go record our demo was with Ryan, and that's how we met him. And it was through a band called Star Fury.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to think if they came first or Metalama came first. Which one was? It was. I met you through. It was Star Fury.
Yeah. And that was with Jason Lynch and Bill Smith and PJ Reynolds.
Yeah.
So that was actually the first real band that, functional band that I was a part of, and it was 4 really good, tight friends, and it ran its course like anything else, and but. Eventually it was time for me to kind of do my own thing, and the other guys didn't have time to do it anymore, so I took PJ with me and I started Metalama, and we did that for I think a good solid 3 years or so, and but we recorded our first demo with Ryan, and that was my first take on really trying to be a lead singer, because there was only 3 of us in the band at the time. It was myself, PJ Reynolds, and Sean Seabass Copel.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Oh, Seabass, yep.
Yeah. And that was my introduction to singing. So when there's actually a couple of recordings that Ryan has, I actually tried to find the ones that he did.
Yeah, so you were digging deep in the computer and you sent us a couple files, and I love when people do this, and they bring in things that it's like, hey, it's it's either partially done in the studio, or this is something I never put out, or this is something I've been working on, or this is something from you remember.
Yeah, most of them are released on a record that we call Drowned Out the World.
Yeah, and tell me about the production and that end of it, and how you went around about putting that album out with those.
Oh, geez. Well, we had a few songs cooked up, but we were really adamant on getting a record done. And I wanted it to be something big. Like, when you're a kid and you have this vision and stuff, it was, I had a really big fucking ego too. Like,
yeah,
I was just
and you need it when you're doing that.
At the time, especially, so I was like, I want it to be done this way. And I'm like, I wanted to put like 16 songs on it. And a lot of them were just like turned into like these 6-minute fucking wank fests, and I'm still proud of the record for the most part, but now that I'm a bit older, and I would say maybe wiser, I hope.
Yeah.
things are a little bit different these days. But the production behind that was the pre-production basically just involved me bringing. Well, first it would start in the basement at PJ's place because it's usually at the drummer's place because you don't want to lug that shit around. It's too much. Yeah. So he, we had all the stuff down there. I would bring in the foundation to some of the songs and lay it down and kind of exchange ideas and just here's the song, and then Seabass would learn the riffs and then he'd kind of throw his own little thing on it. He didn't change too much about it because he just wanted to be all low end. He was never about being a lead bass player.
Right.
So
right.
He was also a guitar player, I should point out beforehand. I remember
Ryan
kind of giving him shit for that. Like, oh, these guitar players always think they can
frustrated guitar players
think they can pick up a bass and go with it. And he eventually picked it up, though. He was pretty good.
He did good.
Yeah. So, and he was good at learning. Like, I could show him a song in like two takes, and he would fucking nail it. And PJ always just knows what to do with what I throw at him.
Right.
So, the songwriting process was pretty fucking fast.
Yeah. So, I was wondering because you want to be a perfectionist, and you said you got ego, and so you came to that realization of what you had in your mind pretty quick. You didn't have to waste a lot of time or money in the studio not getting what you had in your head.
Yeah, but we also kind of went there blindly with little experience. We did have a little studio experience, but it was also with Ryan, who's like pretty much the easiest guy to work with.
Yeah.
So we've never had to go in blindly to something we didn't know. Like, and Ryan would always take the time to fucking make sure that, despite sometimes we wouldn't always have the best resources on hand, but he would fucking work with it and
make it as best as it could.
Make the best product out of the resources that we had. And coming into, I think Seabass met Paul Reamons at Grand Avenue Studio. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how he met him. I think Paul met his dad or something, and he said, oh, my son's got this band. And so he ended up giving us a deal on doing what he thought was going to be a live off the floor EP. Little did he know that it was going to be a shit ton of layering.
Yeah.
And this was going to be done over a weekend. And, recording a 3-song demo is one thing, but we ended up doing a 12-song record. And as a singer in a studio, your voice is only good for about 2 hours.
Right.
And I had to do all the vocals, including all the backups, the next day after recording all the fucking songs. Which I think I was able to omit doing one song until the next day because it was all done by me. Because it was an instrumental and it was basically supposed to be just like a interlude to the record, just sort of a mood setter, which I think the other guys in the band were kind of pissed off about because they had no
idea.
No, they knew about it, but they're like, do you think we should put this on the record? I mean, we had no part in this thing. And I'm like, well, don't worry about it. It'll only take me a few minutes, and I ended up putting like 12 guitar tracks on it. But, the whole process took a long time, and PJ had never played to a click track before either. Mm. So another thing going with lack of studio, like professional studio experience, because we were so young, and so a lot of times it took us a while to get the drum tracks down properly. And there were one where he deleted the entire drum track because he hated it and wanted to go over the song with no click track. So now it's kind of it's now a bit out of time. And now he has to just go on blind faith and hope he nails it. And he actually nailed it.
He did it. That's sweet when that happens.
Yeah, like it was a miracle. But by by like 6-7 o'clock, we got Paul screaming in our ear going, we're not going to get this done, guys. We're not going to get this done. And, as frustrating as it was for us, we're like, well, I guess, he's got a point. But yeah, it was a pretty stressful experience. There's a lot of fuck this, I'm going out for a smoke.
Yeah.
And then coming back in and now we're trying to go on. One thing that's been helping PJ and I these days is a quote that David Lee Roth of all people said, but it's silly, but it's psychologically it's kind of worked. It's if you can't do it in 2 takes, it can't be done.
Yeah.
So we just kind of like punch that in each other's heads and we just whip something off and it kind of works. But with that album, it was sort of rushed, but we got it done. We were proud of it in the end, but yeah,
it is what it is, and we're gonna listen to something off it. I think it's time for some music. I tend to chat and I cram the music in at the end there. So I want to get you to play live, and I want to play some pre-recorded stuff. I don't know, Ryan. You're obviously have much more of a insight. You recorded this stuff, all of it. You know. So what's your favorite?
Are these the versions I recorded, or you said these are the?
No,
these are the Grant versions.
These are the Grant Avenue ones. I looked for the ones that you did, but I could not find them on my computer. I know they exist somewhere, but
we'll get them out next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I liked the bottom end and the crispness of your recordings.
Thanks.
Thanks. Well, he actually
Ryan's got a crisp bottom end. A lot of people that's down at the Y. They say that.
Yeah. At the Y. Thanks.
What?
Young man. No.
I'd say just because that's downtown.
Yeah. Now that there's anything.
Down.
It's not a purse. It's it's European.
Where did this go? It's all my fault. I'm sorry.
Keep in mind, these were.
Ryan didn't get back to me. All right, which I didn't want to just pull one out, but I wanted to hear the one that's the guitar wank fest. Is that?
Yeah.
In there?
Which one is that?
The wank fest. Oh shit. Well, a lot of them were. Actually, I didn't bring that.
And I mean that in a good way.
That was that I was more or less referring to the title track of the record, which was "Drown Out the World," but I didn't bring that one with us because that's like 6.5 minutes long, and I'm like. There's a good chunk of the podcast right there, so I thought I'd actually bring a song in that Ryan favored over the rest of them, which was Inside Dream. Keep in mind, this was recorded back in 2008, I believe. So,
all right, we're going to hear from Joe Towers with this Metalama at the time.
Yeah, this is our old band, and we're actually I'm going to talk about this new project that him and I got going.
Absolutely. All right, from the barbershoppodcast.com, got some Metalama here. All right. Inside Dream, Joe Towers with Metal Llama. And that was, 2008, you said?
Yeah. I took the headphones off. I heard that song enough for the throughout the years.
But epic anthem there. It was good. Like you said, 2 days, it's incredible. It shows you what you can do with some determination.
Well, I work well under pressure, Kev.
Yeah. So it seems like music has been part of what you've done. At what point did you decide this is, it's not just me being a 13-year-old kid, but this is really what I'm going to always do?
I think it was after the first couple of times I got up to perform.
The live shot.
I was like, and seeing people have a good time, and watching your creation come to life, but all in the same sense, making that many people happy at the same time. And I'm like, and happiness is about the best thing you can bestow someone, So yeah. I'm like, no matter what form it comes in, and even if you don't fucking know the people, that's about the best and most intimate way you could possibly do it. Yeah. And it's the most fun form of art, at least from my perspective. So I'm like,
what good therapy. Like, how many times did you wake up the next day with 2 hours sleep, just bouncing, feeling like so alive, even though you drank 6 pints? And,
oh, fuck yeah, man. Like, there's been times when I was playing in a band with Ryan, and I would have to get up. Basically, what it was, we were a bar band, and we would play and not... Let's see.
10 till 2.
Yeah, so by the time we get in the fucking door, we unload our gear back at our drummer's place, Rob Wilson, but you get home, your head hits the pillow probably 4 a.m. Yeah. And we're being generous with this. And I would have to be back at work for 7 o'clock in the morning for 12 hours.
You did a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Ernie in the day.
Yeah.
He was the one at the job.
I think Ernie did it a little better, though. I remember you didn't make it till 8:30 once, right? 9?
Yeah, Wally.
Wally.
Where's Joe? People forget about that. You got to do all the unloading and then the reloading and then the putting in and the driving and the waiting to get paid till the end of the night till they count the money. It's not like,
Yeah, and if the bar owner is drunk, then you got to follow him around for a bit.
Yeah.
That was my job, and I usually took care of that pretty quick. I learned that from you.
Yeah.
Off the stage, right to the bar. Give me my money.
Yeah, you got to.
Pay me.
Yeah. We had to get Ryan to do it.
Yeah, he was the biggest guy in the band.
Ryan and I got kicked out of we lost a gig at a bar once because we threatened the audience.
Oh, that was great.
Guy kept screaming, "Play Weezer. Play Weezer."
Through the whole set. And drunk, he would walk up and kind of grab the set list off the stage and pick it up and look, "There's no fucking Weezer." Yeah,
there might be a reason for that.
So me and him with a couple goons went over there and threatened him, and then it turns out he knew the owner, so they complained to the owner, and then we lost it.
We just booked 6 gigs, I think. Yeah. They loved us. They came up to us. Yeah, we want you here for 6 weeks. And, yeah.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself as
Oh yeah, especially when you invest that much time, money, and effort into your craft. You're not going to get fucked by people that
Don't rob me of my $2 an hour at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't think the place lasted 6 weeks after that anyway. I think it went out of business in 4 weeks. So, probably we saved ourselves money by doing that.
Yeah, we only would have got maybe one more of those gigs.
So, you're working constantly on new material, I guess. And do you have an idea for a project when you're working on the material? Do you put that aside and say, I've got something in mind, almost the way I'm going to package this or the way I see this coming out? Or do they give life to themselves? Like as far as a song, like what we just listened to was obviously heavy, but I'm sure you write a lot of, textured and light stuff too, but it could be played either way.
A lot of what I'm doing now, when I finally get the EP up and go, because a lot of it consists of a lot of undeveloped material that I'm still working on with PJ. And so with that said, a lot of the material has been written in different timelines. So there could be 2 that kind of tie together, and then 2 other songs, or even one other song that sounds completely fucking different. So I can figure out a way to make them all sort of work together, but they're going to have to be strategically placed on the record. Yeah. Because a lot of them do sound very different. There's stuff that sounds a little bit like Queens of the Stone Age-ish, and then there's stuff that's a little bit like Damage Plan. Mm-hmm. And my original idea was to start a band that was kind of like a cross between Fear Factory and Alice in Chains, but I kind of found that that sort of sets it in a certain time and a certain context, and a lot of times you end up with writer's block if you set out for a certain sound. So over time I realized that I had my own style. Even if the songs are different, I think there's always some sort of charm about it and I think most musicians have that, unless they're going for a way different sound than they were doing before, or and they're forcing it and they're good at forcing it, but more often than not, it's just going to leave you frustrated, and because you could be working on a riff all day and realize it's not fucking working.
Yeah.
And then some days you're just like, bam, 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 all these riffs come together, you got a song. Yeah. But I think I got off track there. What?
I don't know. It's all good, man. No, just talking about the different songs and if they all have the same feel to them, and when they don't have the same feel, do you have a different project already in mind for a song, or they're all going to be used in the same project?
I'm gonna try and use right now. I'm gonna try and use everything in the same project. With before, what would happen was, if I was playing in a band and then, we had our own sort of verve and character of our own, and if I had an idea that was right off the wall, sometimes in order to keep something cohesive, I wouldn't always, I didn't want to force those new influences onto the band if I didn't feel that it was going to work, and, sometimes I'd bring a song in and be like, yeah, let's try this, but if it doesn't work, then I just keep it to myself. Right. That's how a lot of bands end up biting the dust. And that's why I kind of like what Dallas Green did with Lexus on Fire. I've never been a big fan of those guys, but a lot of people are. And as opposed to bringing his soft folk rock thing, like his acoustic singer-songwriter stuff into that band, he just started his own project. Yeah. And now you got, I think George is playing with Monster Truck, so they're all split up now. Yeah. But they were able to do that in a certain way that didn't allow the band to jump the shark by allowing too many outside influences that would just change the band too much. Because you got bands like Guns N' Roses, for instance, which are still, at least when they play the old songs, despite having a new band, for the most part, still sound like Guns N' Roses. But you listen to the record like Chinese Democracy, for example, and it's like so different. There's songs that sound like, movie soundtracks, and then there's shit that's like industrial, like real produced, almost like a Nine Inch Nails. Yeah. And it's like if it didn't have Axl singing on it, you would not know it was Guns N' Roses. Yeah. But it's his band now, so.
And, frankly, when you put that many years in, you don't want to do the same thing over again. So you have to be open to that, and you're going to get a turnover in your band. You know? So I want you to play something live. You've always been, like I said, I've been impressed with, how you can carry yourself as a singer-songwriter, acoustic guitar guy. So tell me what you're going to play.
Well, what I have is a song that's, I'm going to have to tune this right down, by the way.
So you got it all tuned up so we can tune it down. You got to know where you're starting from.
Ryan hates this shit.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all right.
You can figure it out.
It's okay. You're not the one looking like a knob tuning a guitar.
It's a podcast too, so it's not like we have 100 people waiting for us to play. We had 2 people watching live. We got one person now. Somebody live.
Okay. Whoever's watching live right now.
Somebody got bored.
Yeah, I got a pretty good feeling who's watching live right now. Hey, Joe.
Yeah. Hi, Rob. Yeah, we'll get to that soon. Yeah. So anyway, well, this is something that I've been working with PJ on. It's the only song that I have, with full lyrics and everything. It's kind of dumbed down because I have to play it on acoustic, because it's written for a full band. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be a heavier song, so it's going to be played a little bit differently as well. But what can I say about this tune? Well, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more after I'm done playing it. Keep in mind, I haven't had a chance to warm up or sing anything this
I know. We just throw you right into it.
That's okay. Again, working under pressure is something I'm like to think that I'm good at. So this song is called Drain the Earth, and it's going to be part of our new project. Let's see if I can do it. Ooh, that was ugly. Hang on.
That was ugly. But we think ugly can be so beautiful. Right, Ryan?
Well, it's like the saxophone could be the most beautiful instrument or the most obnoxious.
This is true. See, this is why Ryan hates
I think I got it.
drop tuning. Sounds good to me.
We'll call this setting the mood. I don't do it quite as good as David Gilmour, but all right, let's just get this. This is called Drain the Earth, tentatively titled. Inside my head, breathing but left for dead, leaves in the wind, decay, and lies you lived instead. When I could barely stand up, you were there to take my hand and raise my mind. Cast aside, implosions, holes in my hands, hopes and dreams, crushed in happenstance, clouded visions by denial, forever trapped in paranoia, rain my mind, drain my eyes, take my life, waste your time. Persevere against demons, drowning all that you're dreaming. Living's kind of hard when you're handcuffed to a dead man. Rain my mind, drain my eyes, take my life, waste your time.
Nice job. Drain the Earth.
Yeah.
Joe Towers original. That's not dummied up too much, I'd have to say.
Well, I had to omit the guitar solo because that would have just been pointless.
Hey, no, it was nice. Nice. I heard the arrangement, immediately. So, you've got a situation now where you're starting to write, and sing all your own stuff, but you surround yourself. You still have this like full-on band. I mean, that vision you see. Because I think you really play really well when I've seen you on open stages and whatnot. Do you envision a light version of what you're doing, or is everything you're going to be a rocker till the day you die?
Pretty much a rocker till the day I die. With the exception of I would never rule anything out. I'm never about burning books. Because sometimes an idea can change the fucking world.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much. Music, I if a soft song comes in, like if I think of something that I really enjoy and it it makes me feel good and it sounds great to us, then use it. I'm not gonna put the band to one specific sound, really.
Yeah.
Because this is something that I can sort of branch out. This is pretty much me on my own now. Taking all the experience that I've accumulated over the years, and trying to put it to something now. Like, I'm 27.
Yeah,
that's
the magic age.
Yeah, the magic age. It could be it also has a curse too.
Yes,
as I understand.
You can make it or die, one or the other. Ryan's already given up, right?
I am well past that. Yeah.
When I outlived Elvis, once I made 42, I was like, all right, I think I'm going to be okay. I'm past the Morrison and Hendrix and Joplin.
I was a little worried,
Yeah.
but I just kept thinking it's a good fucking thing I'm not famous.
Yeah.
I tried. This is the reason why. If I was famous, I'd probably be dead. So it's a good thing I'm not.
Yeah.
That's how I justified, I guess, a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah, we'd be losing too much, not having Ryan.
Yeah. He's like, too many strings get attached to Ryan eventually at some point or another. Because it's a community, right? I mean, the people that you meet, it's I've always found it really enriching that as long as you keep your eyes open and your ears open, you meet people, and all of a sudden, like, wow, this is where I was 6 months ago or a year. Would have been totally different if I didn't, happen upon or go to a meeting or see someone or jam with this guy.
Oh, for sure. Even things like smoke and cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't condone smoking at all, but I do it. And actually, I was at work about 2 months ago, and for most of my life smoking, I always said, "Oh, I wish I never started." Then I got to thinking. There's been scenarios where I could have been fucking dead had I not been smoking. I was hauling biomedical waste away the one day, and in the bio room at work,
Yeah.
you got a pile.
Joe works at a hospital. We'll throw that out there just so you're not wondering why he's just playing around with biomedical waste.
Yeah, I wash my hands before I come in. But so there's a pile of boxes in a corner on a skid, and I'd been standing there. And I was reading something, and then I was taking boxes away to go, put shit on my supply wagon, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Anyway, I said, fuck this, I'm going out for a smoke. I come back in, a metal pipe had fallen from the ceiling along with a bunch of rock and debris right where I was fucking standing. So had I not gone out for that fucking smoke...
Saved your life.
Yeah, so smoking might promote
Smoking
a slow...
saves lives.
Yeah.
A slow, excruciating, fucking painful existence. But, it would have been better than a pipe falling on my head at 27 years old, never releasing my record.
Yeah.
It's all the shitty years you lose anyways.
Yeah.
The ones at the end aren't fun.
No.
Regardless.
To paraphrase Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
The ones at the end.
Remember, I quit for 9 months once, and I realized every time you were at the club, everyone you like to hang out with is out smoking. And I realized that smoking might not make you cool, but being cool makes you smoke because you go outside and you're standing in the circle, and eventually you smoke a cigarette, and
Yeah, I find myself doing it out of boredom half the time. I'm like, like I say, I'm waiting for a bus or something, or waiting for a cab or whatever. It's like, what could make this fucking boring situation a little bit better? Oh yeah, I smoke.
Yes. Don't have a portable shawarma truck nearby or something, you know.
Yeah, that might be something to look at.
You can eat.
The barber shop.
And you can't masturbate in public without getting hassled all the time. So it's like down to smoking, you know. It's just the bylaws are really too strict.
Yeah.
Public masturbation.
Yeah, they really got to lighten
almost
up.
as bad as public smoking.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, next thing you know, he'll be smoking.
Yeah, it's put a whole new meaning to being pillared.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know fucking all the. You know, I've had so many people like. I don't condone smoking, but I do it, but I don't. Even if I quit, I wouldn't fucking preach to people because I've had those same goddamn people do it to me constantly. Yeah. It's always the same story. Well, I smoked for 11 years and I quit cold turkey. Man, it's like, okay, asshole. You know what? If you want to put pass judgment on me, let's take it back a little bit. Why did you smoke for 11 years? Why didn't you smoke for 5, 2? Why didn't you just quit after you fucking started? You know why? Because it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
That's why you smoked for 11 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't a personal choice. Oh, I'm going to give it up after 11 years.
That's
awesome.
The magic number.
Right up to that 11th year. Everything was gravy up until then.
That's when they put smokes up to $4.50 a pack. And I said, that's it.
Yeah, when I couldn't pay my rent anymore by like $4.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, all right, that's enough. And there were people that, I had a buddy who was like, pretty much a drunk for a lot of years trying to fucking preach that shit to me. It's like, don't give me tips on health and safety.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. Talk about the pot and the fucking kettle.
Yeah, that happens quite often. So I want to play another tune. I was really duly impressed with the first tune off of your. Did you have a working title for the CD for?
Oh,
what we listened to?
The old Metalama record?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Drown Out the World.
Drown Out the World. So I want to play the next one in line, Shadow Mountain. Now, Shadow Mountain has a very mountainous and shadowy connotation to it.
It's just a wall of guitars. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Like the guitar, so like the leads in it are just a mess. There's not a lot of finesse in it. There's some nice bends, but there's a bit of messy shred in there that's just fucked. But I mean, it does set some sort of mood to it.
So it could be like in like really awesome video game music and in snippets, probably.
Yeah, I think the other two guys in the band hated it because they had no part in it. But I don't know. I thought it was necessary, but take it for what it is.
I love that stuff like that. All right, let's hear some Shadow Mountain on Kevin's Barbershop, barbershoppodcast.com. Tell all your friends. Joe Tower. Got some Shadow Mountain, very evocative.
That's it's literally 2 riffs played through an entire song with a wall of bullshit.
Yeah, and sometimes depending on how you spread it, how thinly, and sometimes how thickly, the bullshit is the best part.
Yeah.
You know, it certainly gets chewy sometimes, doesn't it, Ryan? You got some stories. Imagine working behind the bar, having to like polish some turds.
Well, I could do Confessions of a Sound Man. That could be a whole other episode.
You have to put a bag on your head. With
you go home now.
Oh yeah, no.
Too many hour.
Yeah,
you go home. I don't pay. You know, go home.
$60. Actually, that's what you were quoted, right? Or was it 80?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to get into name dropping.
Just suffice to say, the fame and the fortune,
and everything that goes with it.
Yes.
So, you know what? I'm really enjoying the musical thing that you do with the guitar and the mic and the Gloiven. And I think his Gloivenation is really good today. I think Joe, I could see the veins bulging out on his neck, and he had good mic control. It's like, I appreciate that. He didn't blow up the vintage board. That
no. I don't have the means to pay for that.
How many channels? What's our percentage of live channels versus dead channels? 50-50?
60-40 working. Yeah, I dug an old board out of we have to expand, but nobody's paying us, so we have to pull old gear out of the garbage.
That's right. On that note, we got like 400 or 500 people a week who are watching, and some of you are business owners. And now that we're at the Dirty Dozen, we're going to do a little aggressive marketing of the podcast. Get your logo, a little mention of your business, and in exchange for some gear. This gear is expensive, and we just don't.
We're going to make a list, and you can contact us on our website, barbershoppodcast.com.
We'll register at Long and McQuaid, and we'll be talking to Mr. McQuaid, Mr. Long. I mean,
Mr. Long.
Mr. Long. I don't know if Mr. McQuaid is.
But anyways,
either ways,
I'm not going to shave his back.
No, I won't, but I will shave a monkey's back if it'll. All right. I'd like you to play another song. What do you got for us this time, Joe?
Well, how much time do we got left?
17 and a half minutes.
Yeah, we got probably 20 minutes, half hour.
Okay. So
there's no set time in this show.
Okay,
when it starts to really suck, we kind of wrap it up.
It's like, all right, Joe, you got to get the fuck out.
You don't suck yet, so.
All right. I'm going to play something from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nice.
This is called Science Fiction. My Corini was ill the day that the earth stood still, but he told us, where I stand. Then Flash Gordon was there in silver underwear. Claude Rains was the invisible man. Then something went wrong for Fay Ray and King Kong. They got caught in a celluloid jam, and out of deadly base it came from outer space. And this is how the message ran. Science fiction, double feature. Dr. X will build a creature. See androids fighting. And Francis stars in Forbidden Planet. Oh, oh, oh. The late night double feature picture show. Like no Leo G. Carroll was over a barrel, went to ransom I took to the hills. Then I really got hot when I saw Janet Scott fight a drifter that spits poison and kills. Dana Andrews said prunes gave him the runes, and passing the mule lots of skills. But when worlds collide, said George Pound to his bride, I'm gonna give you some terrible thrills, like science fiction, ooh, double feature, Dr. X, ooh, will build a creature. See androids fighting around Janet, and frantic stars in forbidden planet. Oh, oh, oh. At the late night double feature picture show by RKO. Oh, oh. At the late night double feature picture show in the back row. Oh, oh. At the late night double feature picture show, I wanna go. Oh, 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 oh. At the late night double feature picture show.
Very nice. So you do obviously enjoy performing live. It's something you're always going to want to do.
Yeah, it's once it's in your blood, it never goes away.
Yeah. So I ask pretty well everyone this question. We see this constant change in music. You're still a relatively young guy, but you're obviously seeing a great acceleration and the importance of marketing yourself digitally and the opportunities to play live and the demographics that you appeal to. These, you're a bright guy. These are things that you've kind of had in your mind the whole time. How do you see if you're going to package this and have you thought of I know you've done some videos, film work or anything like that?
I think I'm going to get more into video, especially with Ryan's help, because he's becoming a very reputable
videographer, producer. Yeah.
If his name is spreading out there, and I'm glad to know the guy.
Yes,
So,
you just want the discount.
yeah,
That's all.
I had to shave his back.
Like I said, the monkey was more of a
I'm gonna try all kinds of different avenues, because you never know what's gonna actually happen for you. But I'm still gonna do the regular thing as well. I want to put out an EP. I want it on disc. I want a product that I can sell to people at the gigs. We're gonna play live. We want everything to be as interactive as possible.
Yeah.
Just like a band. But there's also a lot of things that I don't use Twitter. I don't there's a lot of fucking social outlets that I don't.
It's tough. You get buried and you don't know how effective or ineffective each one is. And
and I almost feel like I've felt over the years, if I invest too much time into this technology shit, I'm going to lose sight of what's important, which is the product itself. But PJ's also, he's done a lot of reading in the last few months about marketing and things like that. So I'm actually going to pick his brain and see how he feels about things too, because I don't have to do, it's something that I feel is, it's personal. This is my music, but it's very much, it's his too. I mean, he's helping me develop everything, and it's right now it's just he and I doing this project, and we're gonna get some other people on board eventually too. But I'm gonna pick his brain and see what he has to say about things, and I'll take help from anywhere I can get it. you know, especially from people who know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there, but at least he and I don't know what to do, like everything, like all the right moves to make, but we've made enough wrong moves to know what not to do.
Yeah. So I liken it to panning for gold. You start off with a lot of rocks and you don't find the gold right away. And eventually you get rid of everything but the gold. And that takes some doing. But I think your product is fantastic. And I think that you have a good vision, you know, of what you want to do with it. It's just a matter of,
executing it properly.
And how can I cultivate that fan base, the ones who'll be excited and will share, you know, their excitement. And there's nothing like a one-to-one referral. Someone say you got to go out, and getting people to go out to a club. And sometimes I complain about it, and yet I'll look and say, you know, there really is 25, 30 venues, and people are working, and it is doable.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to do, like a few things I want to implement, I want done differently. Like when I'm booking, like the main problem with the local music scene, bar none to me, is bad booking. You've got people, the reason why bands have to poach each other's fans nowadays is because bars have scared away any chance of having regulars, because people don't want to pay money to go to a shit show.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they're getting themselves into, and the bar and venues are just packing bands and they're like sardines now, just trying to make a buck without really screening who they're having in there. So a lot of times you could have like a couple of good bands, but they're surrounded by complete shit.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, obviously not mentioning any names. Like I don't have anybody off the top of my head I'm even thinking about, but I mean, it's inevitable. You go to any show and you got to sit through, like, and half the time, if it's the one good band that you want to see, they're on either dead last or second to last, and you're there till fucking 1 o'clock in the morning to hear 6-7 songs.
Yeah.
You know, and it's late and the sound's shit and everybody's drunk and it's just, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and you go outside, you got a ticket on your car.
Yeah. No, I've seen that there's definitely in most cases a disconnect between the ownership, and either they think that they can book the place themselves, or hopefully they have a background in it, and the person booking, trying to book the bands, because a lot of times, you know, they just don't see eye to eye, and the ownership views music as a commodity to order like condiments or forks, and it's like, yeah, I put music in and money comes in, and they're not cultivating the crowd, the demographic, the regulars, the people who will.
Oh yeah, Toronto's bad for that too. Because I mean, I've done shows where we've played with like a fucking death metal band, followed by a country band, followed by a singer-songwriter, followed by a rap group.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, this does not fucking work, man. You cannot pack all these people and like nobody's having fun.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. It's a really bad scene, and the bookers don't really have a good rapport with the talent anymore. They're just, you know, just throwing anybody in there on the, you know, on the guarantee that, oh, this guy said he'll bring 30 of his friends by. You know, and it's just like people are just showing up because they feel like they have to, and it's like, that's not what I want. And that's why I don't spam people a lot when you know, whenever we do gigs. You know, like I'll let people know, but I mean, I want to let people get interest if they're interested in it. You know, create a product that's interesting, and you know, and create a show that people will love and respect.
Yeah.
You know, and people will want to come back, and they don't feel like you're fucking badgering them. I've had friends in bands hit me up and chat on Facebook constantly, going without even saying hello. Come see my band Friday. Okay. Hey, dude. You know, like, it's like now you're just being a pain in the ass, and I know I'm going to spend $100 out there, and you know I'm going to have to buy something, and you know it's just a big fucking hassle. And it's also bands that are making their people jump through hoops in order to support them. You know, it's good to have supportive people out there, but don't take advantage of it. Like, you know, suck them dry either.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. It's got, you know, it can't be an unrequited love. You know. You gotta keep giving 100%.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something obviously comes through, you know, the music you play, you know, and then obviously you surround yourself with like-minded people, musicians.
And I've always tried to surround myself with talented people and people that I thought were
inspire you.
Yeah, and they were better than me.
Yeah,
I want to learn shit from these fucking people. Like, you know, I didn't know shit about gear really until I met Ryan and started actually working with the guy.
Yeah.
And I still don't know a lot about fucking gear, but I'm taking more of an interest in it now. Because
you know more.
Yeah, I know more than I did
when you listen.
And, yeah, pretty much. But like, you know, it showed me the importance of, you know, a lot of it was technology too, and I'm like, Okay, and also working with Ryan, a lot of times he'll just take something from scratch and pick it apart and fucking, learn the mechanics of break it down and figure out the mechanics of how this works, and then just kind of master it just by experience. And looking at that, I was like, well, fuck, I could probably do that too then,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've done that with shitty little, downloadable recording programs. I've sat in my basement for a long time, and I've actually been able to create some pretty cool shit with a program that was meant just for, recording voices or something like that. But, it's about making the best out of the resources that you have.
Yeah, and parking that ego at the door, that
Yeah,
that idea that it can't be done, or
making a podcast studio.
yeah, exactly.
Stuff
it's
flying
like
around.
people say, "What other podcasts do you listen to?" And I say none. I don't want to get flavored by the way it's done. I'm going to do it the way I think, and find your own way.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be based on the things you know and you like. But I like talking to musicians because they usually have something to say. That's why they're doing what they're doing.
Depends on who it is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true.
How much booze they had before they come in, and how much booze you have left.
Yeah. I was toying with the idea of having a liquor cart or something, and I thought, no, that would become a pretty expensive thing.
Maybe
Especially
a
if you have the
special podcast. Maybe when we get to 25, we'll get a couple of our favorites down, and we'll get hammered. And,
I think, if you had some of the old punk rockers come in.
we may have to hire somebody to run the board.
We
but-
get
Well, yeah, it's kind of like that old Mitch Hedberg quote. He's like, I think a duck's opinion on me is based on whether or not I have bread on me. So now, if you have liquor, he's gonna be a little bit happier of a guest.
Yeah.
But
To a point, and then it's train wreck city.
yeah.
then he's talking
exactly.
shit about his old singer or something like that. But
Yeah, that's how you time it out.
What we used to call that, the Frankie Venom ratio.
Yeah.
Between 4 to 6 beers is golden.
Yeah.
Enough to loosen up, but not so much.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that is
Yeah.
useless.
you're getting a foot through your monitor.
Oh yeah. it was a logarithm like any other. You're going to go up on stage, or you're going to be doing anything. You want to be right in that butter zone.
Yeah.
Nicely, slightly, a little bit buzzed. So I want to play another one of those tunes off of your project, I guess we call it. It's not an opus that we got.
The only tracks that I was able to bring were the old ones.
Yeah.
But the one that I wouldn't mind playing, if we're going to play one more track and then maybe do a live one, I would like to play Nameless, which is a song. It was the last song that we wrote as a band. It was a little more cohesive this time. It wasn't just me bringing the material, and we'd already reinvented the band by this point. The bass player was out. We got a new bass player. We had another guitar player come and go. So I mean, we went through more members than Deep Purple, and nobody really knew who the hell we were yet. But we were working on a second record before the band came to an end, and we recorded with a audio engineer student, Tom Schonels, if I'm saying his last name right. I think he was a Mohawk student. He took audio engineering, and he was good, but we didn't really have a lot of time to fine tune it. Like the band ended up breaking up way too fast, and he did a quick mix and sent it to us. And so basically, and I took the beginning of the song and I altered something, just this quick little backward masking thing that I threw in there.
Satanic.
It's basically just a part of the song that I just clipped and I put at the beginning of the song and put it backwards.
There's no praising of the Dark Lord, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
So it's called Nameless, and it's actually a heavier song than what we were used to. But it was. I think we were headed in the right direction, but it was something that had to come to an end eventually for the right reasons.
Well, there you go. And this song shall remain nameless on Kevin's Barbershop, barbershoppodcast.com. Nameless.
Yeah, and it shall remain nameless.
It shall remain nameless. Well, it's smoking. It's good. It's powerful. You know, I think it's tight too. You know, it's not a lot of sloppiness in that riffage.
Yeah, we were going for something a little bit different. I mean, because it was a whole different band. Once again, we had Mike Mishkovsky, who plays for 40 Sons now, and our guitar player Matt Leckie, who's off in Sheridan College now. So I mean, we're all doing
Stuff.
Yeah, I think we're off to like, you know, better shit now. I mean, it was a good stepping stone for us.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So you seem like you're in a good place right now. You're, you know.
Yeah.
You want to do one more.
Life is good, and
acoustic.
I'm gonna do one for my lady Sierra, if she's listening and watching to the podcast right now. This song isn't really relevant in any sense. She just really likes when I play it for her.
It's a pretty song.
Yeah. And it's going to be by a band called Alter Bridge, and it's called In Loving Memory.
Thanks for all you've done. Missed you for so long. I can't believe you're gone. You still live in me. Feel you in the wind. You got me constantly. I'll never knew what it was to be alone. No, you were always there for me. You were always waiting. Now I come home and I miss your face so. Smiling down on me, I close my eyes to see and to know. You're a part of me, and it's your song that sets me free. I sing it while I feel I can't hold on. I sing tonight 'cause it comforts me. Carry things that remind me of you. Love and memory of one that was so true. Were as kind as you could be. And even though you're gone, you still mean the world to me. I'll never what it was to be alone. Oh, you were always there for me. You were always waiting. But now I come home and it's not the same, no. Feels empty and alone. I can't believe you're gone and to know you're a part of me, and it's a song that sets me free. I sing it while I feel I can't hold all. I sing tonight 'cause it comforts me. I'm glad it set you free from sorrow. I still love you more tomorrow, and you'll be here with me still. All you did today would and you always will, and you always will, and you always will. Ooh. Sets me free. I sing it while I feel I can't hold on. I sing tonight 'cause it comforts me. Happy Valentine's Day, baby.
Joe Towers. Sarah, she's a lucky girl, eh?
I like to think I'm the lucky one. But
Yeah, you know what? Love is a wonderful thing. You're feeling it, and all three of us are lucky because we're in a good place right now. And music being a big part of it. Brian, I want to thank you for introducing me to this cat, Joe Towers. There'll be some links up on the Barbershop podcast website where you can get a hold of Joe and his vitals. Joe, thanks for coming out, man.
Thanks
Really
for having me,
appreciate
man.
it.
I'll
Thanks,
come back
Joe.
anytime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anytime I'm welcome.
Anytime you're welcome. Trust me. And there's going to be a barbecue, I think, in the summertime,
Yeah.
maybe Labor Day. Everyone who's been on the show is going to get an invite. So
Yeah.
could have something crazy out on the deck. Who knows?
Yeah, some sort of, maybe the 20th episode, some sort of milestone episode. Yeah, we'll have a big bash and live broadcast of silliness.
There you go.
We'll figure it out.
All right. From the hallowed halls of Boxo Studio, this has been Kevin's Barbershop, barbershoppodcast.com. From Ryan Cannon and Joe Towers, thanks for coming out.